Rachel, people love the top 5 lists, top 10 lists. How about let's go with 3 to 5 things? What are the top 3 to 5 pieces of advice you would give to people who are thinking about downsizing or moving, or even for the kids of people who are downsizing or moving?
Yeah, the first tip is start early. Um, Starting early is so important. Sometimes we have people who call, it might be a family member, a realtor, or someone who's selling their home on their own, and they might say, I need to get my house ready and I want to put it on the market next week. Going through 30 to 50 years of stuff takes time. It takes a lot of time. So, starting a year or two, even if you have an idea of, oh, I might be downsizing in the near future, definitely start sooner than later. You will definitely thank yourself afterwards. And the second one would be the time it takes. A lot of times when I hear from potential clients, they say, I took all weekend, all weekend to do 1/4 of my attic. All weekend, 9 to 5, 16 hours to go through it. And, I think people don't realize how long it does take. I mean, to go through, say, a 3,000 square foot home that isn't cluttered, but has, that's been like lived in, right?
Right,
I
right.
mean, for us, if we have 2 organizers, that could take 80 hours to do. So it takes a
Wow.
long time. And it doesn't mean it has to be done over like 3 days, right? It could be done over a year, and maybe we have a couple sessions each month. So even though it's like 80, you would see that it does take that long to go through things. But the one tip I'll give is, if you are working with someone like myself, like a senior move manager, asking for homework is so key. If you can, because when you go into a room, it can be very debilitating for someone. For myself and my team, we go in, we look, we're like, okay, there's a lot of stuff in here, but then we start compartmentalizing and we know exactly where to start. But if you are okay with doing something very strategic on your own, like this little corner has a lot of paper in it, can you go through that before the next session? Because paper takes so long to go through. And that is very, very, very personal. So maybe you can take that box, put it in front of the TV one night, and just start going through stuff. So having homework in between, you're still moving forward and you're still being helped by a third party, but you're not necessarily adding it on to the hours that we'd be helping you. So that to me is a really good tip.
Yeah, that's a great tip. That's a great tip,
Yeah,
especially the paperwork,
definitely.
because I've run into that myself. I have a friend who his dad recently passed away, and he found buckets and buckets and buckets of paper that was everything was notarized NB, nota bene, very important. He's like, if everything is very important, then none of it's really important. And but it took him hours and hours and hours to go through it, just in
Yes.
case there was something very important that they needed. But he's like,
Mhm.
if my dad had any idea, he would never have done this to me ahead of time. So
Right.
that's a
Right.
great tip. Okay.
Yeah.